Hello and welcome to the Woven Knot Crochet, the Hand and Mind Connection. I'm Samira. Thanks for joining me today. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found my channel. If you've been with me before, welcome back. I have a few subscribers now, so thank you so much for your support. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and that way you'll get notified if you hit the little bell of videos that I upload, and we can start to build this community together little by little. So as I mentioned in my introductory video, I am in the mental health field, and so I know that right now there's many people who are dealing with a lot of stress in their lives, and I love giving people tools to manage stress in between encounters that they have with their providers. So again, not as a substitute for care that they're receiving for mental health conditions, but as an additional way to cope on a daily basis, something that they can do, whether it be journaling or meditation or mindful exercises or dance or some other kind of creative outlet. For me, it's been crochet, and I know from participating in a lot of Facebook groups and following a lot of YouTubers in the crochet world that for many people, crochet gives them that. So having been involved in the sort of online crochet community now for several years, I read people's comments and I see what it means to them, and that's what kind of inspired me actually to start this channel. So although I don't be giving mental health advice from a practitioner's perspective, I'm hoping to engage a discussion about that and talk about that, and have a place where you can come and know that that's the focus. So today I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about two things. Setting the mood for crochet. I'm so curious, and I hope that you can please put in the comments some responses to some of the questions that I'm going to pose. I'm very curious about whether or not you sort of set a stage for crochet. So I know for myself, sometimes I like to have certain music on. I like to be in my certain chair or couch cushion, comfortable with a blanket over me if it's a little chilly, which it has not been lately, but I'm kind of looking forward to the cooler weather, frankly. And if you have certain kinds of rituals that you use to kind of set a mood for crochet. Sometimes, I just like to plop down on the couch and start working on a project and have TV on in the background and, have my dogs laying at my feet and, just sit and crochet. Other times, if I really want to get the most out of that relaxing time, I will actually go through some steps first. For example, I'll burn some incense, or I'll put on a nice candle. I'll put on some soft, relaxing music. I might actually do a meditation first, a guided imagery meditation using one of the apps that I have on my phone, like Calm or Balance or Breathe, one of those kinds of apps. I will do some other things as well, like I have some compassion cards here, Pima Chodron's compassion cards. I might pull a compassion card to kind of set a tone or a mood for what I'm looking to do. I'll definitely have some kind of usually warm beverage, if it's an afternoon, some kind of herbal tea by my side, or if it's a really hot day, a nice lemonade. Sometimes I'm in the mood to go outside and crochet in the natural light, feel the breeze. Again, have my dogs around playing, and other times I just like to be very cozy indoors. So I just wondered what your kind of rituals around crochet are. Do you really look forward to coming home at the end of the day from work and just kind of, eating your dinner and just getting your crochet out? Or do you kind of go through a few steps depending on if it's a weekend or a weekday in terms of getting into your crochet? Would love to hear from you about that. Sometimes I think, and I've seen this work for people that I work with, rituals can be so comforting. There's something about routines and rituals that as young children, many of us take comfort in. And sometimes when there's a lack of routine and ritual in one's life, it's hard to get centered and grounded. So we may not have learned that as children. Maybe we didn't have those kinds of routines in our domestic life for one reason or another. But as adults, we can try to cultivate that for ourselves. And crochet might be a good place to start with that. A hobby for many of you. For others of you, this is maybe your life's work. Maybe this is something that you do as part of your business or whatever, so it kind of takes on a different flavor. But either way, setting a stage or setting up some rituals around crochet and bringing your mind and your heart to the activity, it would be interesting to see if there's some difference that makes in terms of what you get out of the activity. That could be for any number of things, a mindful walk, a mindful cooking, but trying it with crochet might be a good place to start if it's something that you'd like to incorporate into your life. And if it is something that you're already doing, how does that work for you? How did you start? And has it changed? I would love to know more about that. I thought I would just show you a couple projects I've been working on. These are just some simple beanies for the local cancer center. I find these kinds of projects to be very mindful and meaningful. This was an older project, a prayer shawl I made for a dear friend as she was going through a difficult treatment for an illness, sending her good wishes while I crocheted. This is another prayer shawl pattern that I'm working on. And this is a similar pattern with some fall colors. So the weather is changing, and pretty soon autumn will be upon us, and the trees will be changing their colors and the leaves will be falling. And I start thinking about cool weather projects. So recently on Facebook, I found a group that is based in the Midwest. They call themselves the ScrapYarnSamaritans Facebook group. They're currently collecting 12 by 12 crochet squares made of acrylic yarn. And when you send them these squares, they will crochet them together and make teen blankets for a children's home. It's a lovely group. I hope you'll check them out. So I'm going to be making some squares for them. Sometimes to set the stage for a meaningful project like this, I'll pull a card from my empowering question deck. And today's question was, what kinds of good and beautiful things am I experiencing in this moment? That kind of set a nice stage. So the group would like acrylic yarn if possible, and I like these cakes because it's so easy to pull out from the center. This is 100% acrylic yarn. It's a worsted weight 4. Recommended hook is 5.5, but of course you can use any acrylic yarn and hook that is comfortable for you. And the nice thing about acrylic yarn for projects like this is that it's machine washable, so great for blankets. And the color changes, so it can have a little bit of interest. So some supplies: scissors, darning needles. Measuring tape is helpful, so you can measure your square, see that you're getting 12 by 12, and stitch markers are always a good thing to have on hand. So I like to keep all these things prettily on hand. I've got my turtle reminding me to slow down, my lotus reminding me that sometimes with difficulties in life, there are beautiful things that can come from that. And so I'm just going to make a granny square. The nice thing about granny squares is that it's a natural square, so you kind of just keep going until you get the width and height that you'd like, in this case 12 by 12. And so, you know, if you'll just want to crochet along with me here, you want to grab your supplies and make a granny square, or any other kind of square, just a rose will do as well. And, you know, if you're a beginner and you would like some simple tutorials from some mindful projects, please let me know in the comment box, and I can definitely try to film some tutorials for you as well. Here I'm just sort of crocheting a granny square, and what I love about them is, as I mentioned in my very first introductory videos, that they're very repetitive, and so you can really kind of get into a mindful state, a meditative state with them, because once you know how to make a granny square, it's just essentially repeating, you know, the same pattern, going around and around until you get the size that you want. So I really enjoy that. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and that you will subscribe if you haven't already, and help build up this community. And please let me know what kinds of videos you'd like to see in the future. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care.